All right. So, what I'm about to say in this video, a lot of people are not going to like, and a lot of people are not going to agree. And that pretty much is what it is at this point. But I figured I had to say something because I haven't really seen many people or not enough people calling this out. And I want to make it very clear before I go any further. My goal in this video is to not condone, defend, or justify D. Durrell. I want to say it one more time, just so we're perfectly clear. I am not here to justify, condone, or defend D. Durrell. That is not my goal here. What my goal here is that if we are really going to have a serious conversation about online sexual harassment, we have to stop with the hypocrisy. We have to. How are we going to really delve into the subject of online sexual harassment when a lot of y'all who are speaking out about this are just being just hypocritical to a fucking T? And it's just very hard for the past 24 hours to take a lot of y'all seriously. I have tried to be sympathetic. I try to have empathy for certain people that has called this out as far as online sexual harassment. I can be sympathetic and I can be empathetic. But when it comes to the hypocrisy, I'm sorry. I can't take this conversation seriously at this point. And until we address the hypocrisies of this, until we address the hypocrisies of this, then we can move forward as far as the conversation goes. Now, I want to start off with breaking the culture of silence. Now, I don't know you, ma'am, and you don't know me. And I saw the live that you did. And when you talked about the definition of what can be deemed as online sexual harassment, I looked it up. And you talked about the 4 categories, and I saw the 4 categories. And one particular category that caught my eye was number 3. Sexual bullyism. And when I read what it was and I looked at the definitions of it or the examples of it, one of them that caught my eye was body shaming. Now, I was on Binary Codes Live earlier, and there's a reason why I went on his panel. Stargate and Binary Code was on the panel, and I had to confirm this because I saw the live. But just to make sure that I'm not tripping, I had to confirm with those two of what happened. Now, they did confirm this with me. So, breaking the culture of silence. Around November or December, you was on a Binary Code Live with Stargate and Knockout Media on the panel. And at one point in time, I believe this was the same live when Photon came on there and he was trolling you a little bit. And Binary was basically interviewing you about let me see your transcript in the history between y'all two. And throughout that live stream, ma'am, you kept taking shots at let me see your transcript's appearance and weight. You even made unwarranted sexual comments about her sex life. Now, if we look at the definition that you gave and the 4 categories that you gave, if you look at number 3, ma'am, what you did was online sexual harassment to let me see your transcript. That can be deemed, according to your definition, as online sexual harassment. Now, Binary says that live is still up. I don't know the title of it, but according to Binary, that live is still up. So you guys can check it out for yourselves. But breaking the culture of silence, what you did, according to your definition that I looked up myself, that can be deemed as online sexual harassment. So therefore, my question to you is this. How can we really take you seriously of you playing victim and crying victim of what D. Durrell did to you? That you were online sexually harassed by D. Durrell. But on a Binary Code Live, you did the same thing to let me see your transcript, ma'am. How am I supposed to take that seriously? Again, I tried to be sympathetic and I tried to be empathetic. But once you gave that definition and I looked it up, and the link is down in the description, if you guys want to check it out for yourselves on what Breaking the Culture of Silence was talking about, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I can't take you seriously. You're playing victim. And I can't look at you as a victim if you've done the same thing to somebody else. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. This type of stuff right here is what we need to address first before we really want to have the conversation. You can't be crying victim of what somebody did to you and you did the same thing to somebody else. We can't keep doing this, y'all. We can't keep doing this. How are we supposed to move forward if we're going to have conversations like this? So Breaking the Culture of Silence, again, I really can't take you seriously right now. I can't. Now, if Let Me See Your Transcript thinks that there's a case to go at you for online sexual harassment, my question to you then is, would you accept that? Or would you basically have the same reaction that D. Durrell has done when he found out that you're trying to get at him for online sexual harassment? But again, this is the type of stuff that we need to address first. Now, I want to talk about anti-Afro Svengali real quick. Lady, you are a fucking hypocrite. A fucking hypocrite. So, let me get this straight. You're going around here talking about, oh, D. Durrell has been sexually harassing people for all these years. And again, it's like, ma'am, how can you go around here and saying what somebody else did when you did the same thing to people like Stargate, Shakim Ra, and Let Me See Your Transcript? With Stargate, you did a Stargate name-calling contest where you promoted it on your community tab, which, by the way, I tried to look back at your community post and I don't see it no more. So that clearly tells me that you deleted that. But for those of you guys who are not aware, Let Me See Your Transcript had a community post and she had on there, she listed a bunch of names. And she offered money to the winner who can come up with the best name for Stargate. Examples I saw or remember was Star Slut, Star Gap, and Star Wide. That is unwarranted sexually name calling. That can be deemed as online sexual harassment according to the definition that Breaking the Culture of Silence has given. And if you look at the 4 categories, it fits in one of those categories. That can be deemed as online sexual harassment. So anti-Afro Svengali, how in the flying fuck can you come on here and start to become a fucking woman's advocate for online sexual harassment or against online sexual harassment where your ass did the same thing to another fucking woman? Again, the hypocrisy is so fucking ridiculous that, again, how can I take this shit seriously? How? You go around here, you call Shakim Ra fold up body. That can be deemed as body shaming. That can be deemed as online sexual harassment. Again, how can I take this shit seriously? Same thing with Let Me See Your Transcript. You put Let Me See Your Transcript on a picture of Rasputia or you advertise that as a fucking joke. Okay, you can say it was a joke. But guess what? Under the definition, that can be deemed as online sexual harassment, whether it's a joke or not. So again, how can we really have a conversation about this if we're not going to call out the hypocrisy of others? How are we supposed to have a conversation about this, y'all? How? So, that leads me to Carrie Ann. Now, Carrie Ann, you was the one that kind of elevated this video with D. Durrell based on Breaking the Culture of Silence doing that live. And you want to keep talking about being a leader. Okay, that's fine if you want to talk about, oh, somebody needs to speak up and speak out. Okay, that's cool. But ma'am, it's like I said, how are we going to have these conversations again if you can't hold yourself accountable as well? And what I mean by this is that you two, ma'am, have done your dirty work of online sexual harassment as well. And this is where I don't like doing this, because I do not like Al. I don't like Al. I don't think the guy should be defended in any way, shape, or form. But again, if we're going to have these serious conversations, we have to keep it a buck. Carrie Ann, you have online sexually harassed Al by demeaning his sex life. That's considered online sexual harassment. So again, if you're going to talk about people being leaders and having these hard conversations, then before we really have to delve deep into what other people are doing, I think it has to be only fair if we have to address what you and others have done before we can really delve into the conversation. That's just me. We're talking about leaders, right? So it's like, again, how can I take people seriously here when we're talking about this type of stuff? How? And that leads me to the rest of the sector. Y'all, again, if we're going to look at the definition to what Breaking the Culture of Silence has given, 98% of y'all fall under this. About 98% of y'all, because let's face facts. This sector isn't innocent. This sector has a lot of blood on its hands. About 98% of us in this sector are not fucking innocent. That includes me. We're all guilty of some sort. But now we got some people trying to be some Me Too activists. All of a sudden, now I'm obviously kind of exaggerating when I say Me Too activists, but that's what it comes off as. That's what it comes off as. But we're not holding ourselves accountable. We're just picking and choosing. And we're trying to come off as if we're sticking up for something. But yet, we don't want to address what we've done first. And again, this isn't me trying to condone or justify or defend D. Durrell. This isn't me trying to do that. But it's like I said, if we're going to get into the conversation, we have to address the hypocrisy first, y'all. We have to. We have to. We just have to. And I'll go along by saying this. At the end of the day, Binary Code was basically right. And I kind of held off on what he was saying a while back because I was thinking he was trolling, but it looks like he's right. This is indeed the hypocrisy sector, because the last 24 hours has been like fucking wild. And I'm just saying to myself, okay, how are we going to get to a conversation we're not going to hold ourselves accountable? Just blatant hypocrisy all around. And I rock with a lot of y'all. Don't get me wrong. But it's like I said, like, we got to hold ourselves accountable for this shit first. Then we can get into the conversation. So anyways, y'all, this was longer than what I wanted it to be. But until then, y'all, I'll talk to you guys later.